Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I need to tell you about something that everyone thinks they know. A famous Japanese urban legend, the Slit-Mouthed Woman, Kuchisake-Onna, the woman in the surgical mask who approaches children and asks, "Am I beautiful?" And if you answer wrong, she kills you with scissors. You've heard the story. You've seen the movies. You probably think it's just folklore, an old legend from the 1970s, something that scared Japanese kids decades ago, but isn't relevant anymore, except it came back in 2007 with real incidents, real police reports, real arrests, real victims, and not just in Japan. It spread to South Korea, to China, across East Asia. People weren't just talking about an old legend. They were experiencing it, living it, running from it. And the question nobody wants to ask is, was it copycats? Criminals inspired by the legend? Or did something that disappeared in the 1980s decide to come back? Let me give you the background first. The original Kuchisake-Onna panic happened in 1979. All across Japan, children started reporting encounters with a woman in a surgical mask. She'd approach them after dark and ask, "Watashi, kirei? Am I beautiful?" If they said yes, she'd remove her mask to reveal a mouth slit from ear to ear, Glasgow smile style, and ask again, "How about now?" If they screamed or said no, she'd kill them with large scissors. If they said yes, she'd make them beautiful too, by cutting their mouth to match hers. The panic was massive. Schools closed early. Parents escorted children home. Police increased patrols. It was national news. Mass hysteria, psychologists said. A shared cultural delusion. Kids feeding off each other's fear, creating a monster that wasn't real. And then it stopped. By 1980, the reports faded. The panic ended. Kuchisake-Onna became a legend, a story, a movie monster. Nothing more. Until 2007. Let me tell you what happened in Fukushima, March 2007. Small city in northern Japan, still recovering from economic downturn. Not a place where you'd expect international attention. But that's where it started. Police in Fukushima started receiving reports, multiple reports, from children, from parents, from teachers. A woman in a surgical mask had been approaching children after dark, near schools, near playgrounds, near the train station. She'd get close and ask, "Am I beautiful?" At first, police thought it was a prank, someone trying to scare kids by recreating the old legend. They increased patrols in the areas where sightings were reported. They asked parents to report any suspicious activity, standard community policing. But the reports kept coming, and they were consistent. Too consistent. Different children who didn't know each other, from different schools, describing the same woman. Tall, wearing a long coat, surgical mask covering the lower half of her face, long black hair, and carrying something. Some kids said scissors. Some said a knife. All of them said she moved wrong, too fast, too smooth, like she was gliding rather than walking. One incident in particular got police attention. A group of 3 middle school students, 2 girls and a boy, were walking home around 6 p.m., still light out. They were on a busy street near the station, and they saw her, standing at the corner, wearing the mask, staring at them. One of the girls later told police that the woman's eyes were wrong, too wide, not blinking, just staring. The woman started walking toward them, not running, just walking, but fast, impossibly fast. Like the distance between them was shrinking faster than normal walking speed would allow. The students ran. They ran into a convenience store, told the clerk to call the police. The clerk looked outside. No one was there. The woman had vanished, but the students were terrified, shaken, crying. The clerk called police anyway. When police arrived, they found something. On the sidewalk where the students said the woman had been standing, there were marks, scratches in the concrete, fresh, deep, 4 parallel lines, like someone had dragged a blade across the ground or dragged their fingernails. Except concrete doesn't scratch that easily, and these marks were deep, too deep for fingernails. Police started taking the reports more seriously. They issued a public safety advisory. Parents should accompany children after dark. Children should travel in groups. If approached by anyone suspicious, run to the nearest public place and call for help. The advisory made news. Local news first, then national. And that's when things got complicated. Because as soon as the story spread, the sighting spread too. Suddenly, it wasn't just Fukushima. There were reports from Saitama Prefecture, from Gunma, from Chiba, all the same description. Woman in surgical mask, approaching children, asking if she's beautiful, moving impossibly fast. Was it copycat behavior? People inspired by the news coverage, deciding to terrorize children for kicks? That's what most people assumed. That's what police publicly stated. They were looking for individuals, plural, engaging in coordinated harassment. But then came the South Korea incident, and that changed everything. October 2007, Seoul, outside an elementary school in the Gangnam district, around 7 p.m., a woman was arrested by police. She was wearing a surgical mask, a long coat, and carrying a pair of scissors in her pocket. She'd been standing outside the school gates for over an hour. Parents called police, said she was acting suspiciously, staring at children, following them with her eyes. When police questioned her, she didn't make sense. She kept saying she was helping children see true beauty, that she was fixing faces. She became agitated when police tried to remove her mask, started screaming, fought them. It took 3 officers to restrain her. At the station, they finally removed her mask, and she had scars, real scars, running from the corners of her mouth toward her ears. Old scars, surgical scars, from reconstructive surgery. The woman had actually had her mouth disfigured at some point, whether by accident, assault, or self-inflicted. The records were unclear, and had undergone multiple surgeries to repair it. Psychiatric evaluation revealed she believed she was Kuchisake-Onna. Not that she was imitating the legend. She believed she was her, that she'd existed since the 1970s, that she'd been doing this for decades, that it was her mission, her purpose, to make people beautiful. She was institutionalized, diagnosed with severe delusional disorder. But here's what disturbed the psychiatrists. Her description of the original Kuchisake-Onna incidents in 1979 were too accurate, too detailed. She described specific cases that were never publicly reported, cases that had been buried in old police files, information she shouldn't have had access to. How did she know? She said Kuchisake-Onna told her, visited her in dreams, showed her what to do, told her to continue the work. The South Korea case should have been the end of it. Mental illness, tragic, but explainable. Except the sightings in Japan didn't stop. Even after the Seoul arrest, even after police assured the public it was just disturbed individuals, the reports continued. Let me tell you about the 2008 Saitama incident. This one is documented. There's a police report, witness statements, evidence. A group of 5 middle school students were walking home from cram school around 9 p.m. Late, but not unusual in Japan, where students study until late evening. They were on a residential street. Well-lit, safe neighborhood. They saw her standing under a streetlight. The woman in the mask. One of the students, a boy named Takeshi, later told police he thought it was just someone waiting for a bus. He didn't think anything of it, but as they got closer, she turned to face them, and he saw her eyes. He said they were completely black, no whites visible, just black. She asked them, "Watashi? Kirei? Am I beautiful?" The students froze. They knew the legend. Everyone in Japan knows the legend. You're supposed to give a specific answer to survive. Some versions say you answer, you're average. Some say you offer her pomade or candy. Some say you just run. These students ran, or tried to. But Takeshi said when they turned to run, she was suddenly in front of them. Not behind them where she'd been standing. In front, blocking their path. She hadn't walked, hadn't run. She was just there, instantaneously. She reached up and pulled down her mask. The students saw her mouth, slit, from ear to ear, showing teeth, gums, the inside of her cheeks, a Glasgow smile, exactly as the legend described. Takeshi screamed. His scream broke whatever hold she had on them. They scattered, ran in different directions. Takeshi ran back toward the cram school, pounded on the door. The teacher let him in, called police. When police arrived, they found the other 4 students. 3 of them had run to a convenience store. The 4th, a girl named Yuki, was found sitting on the sidewalk 2 blocks away. She was catatonic, staring, not responding. Ambulance took her to the hospital. She didn't speak for 3 days. When Yuki finally spoke, she told doctors that when the woman pulled down her mask, Yuki couldn't move, couldn't look away. The woman bent down close to Yuki's face, close enough that Yuki could smell her breath. She said it smelled like metal, like blood. And the woman whispered, "You'll be beautiful too." Then Yuki felt something cold against her cheek, the edge of a blade, pressing into her skin. She felt it start to cut, felt blood, and then she heard sirens, police cars approaching, and the woman vanished, just gone. Yuki touched her face. There was blood, a small cut on her cheek, maybe 2 centimeters long, shallow, but enough to scar. Police found no one in the area, no woman, no evidence, just the 5 terrified students in a small cut on Yuki's face. The Saitama incident made national news. Again, bigger this time, because there was physical evidence, a real injury. Yuki's parents demanded answers, demanded protection, demanded police catch whoever was doing this. But police couldn't explain it, couldn't catch anyone. The woman, or women, seemed to appear and disappear at will. Security cameras in the areas where sightings occurred showed nothing. Witnesses described her, pointed to where she'd been standing, but cameras showed empty space, no figure, no woman, nothing. Then came the 2010 Gunma case, and this one had video, sort of. A convenience store in Gunma Prefecture, small town. The store had security cameras, inside and outside. One night in June 2010, around 11 p.m., the night clerk was working alone. Quiet night, no customers. He was restocking shelves when he noticed someone standing outside the front window, just standing there, staring in, wearing a surgical mask. The clerk watched her. She didn't move, just stood there, pressed against the glass, staring, for over 20 minutes. The clerk got uncomfortable. He stepped out from behind the counter to get a better look. And that's when she moved. She didn't walk away. She didn't leave normally. She just moved, blurred, like bad video tracking, and she was gone. The clerk checked the security footage later, sent it to police. The footage shows the outside of the store. You can see the clerk inside, moving around, but the woman, she's barely visible. She's there. You can see a shape, a blur, but it's like the camera can't focus on her. The image keeps distorting around where she's standing, and when she leaves, it's not normal movement. One frame she's there, next frame she's not. No motion blur, no walking away, just gone. Police analyzed the footage. Technical experts said it was corrupted, magnetic interference, bad camera, glitch, but the convenience store owner insisted the cameras were fine, worked perfectly before and after that night. Just that footage, just that woman. That's when the image distorted. The footage circulated online, on Japanese horror forums, on 2channel. People debated whether it was real or fake, but the clerk stood by his story. He said he saw her, clear as day. And when she left, she didn't walk. She just ceased to exist. After 2010, the reports started to fade again. By 2011, especially after the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami shifted national attention, Kuchisake-Onna sightings dropped off. Schools stopped issuing warnings. Police stopped receiving reports. The panic ended, just like it had in 1980. But it's not gone, because in 2015, there were isolated reports in Hokkaido. In 2017, reports in Kyoto. In 2019, a woman in Osaka claimed her daughter was approached by someone matching the description. Each time, the media coverage is brief. Local news, quickly forgotten, but the pattern continues. And here's what makes it truly unsettling. Researchers have analyzed the Kuchisake-Onna phenomenon. Psychologists, folklorists, they have theories, mass hysteria, cultural anxiety about plastic surgery and beauty standards, post-war trauma manifesting as a disfigured female ghost, urban legends as social commentary. All of that makes sense. Rationally, logically, the Kuchisake-Onna panic of 1979 and the resurgence in 2007-2010 can be explained as societal fear, taking a specific shape, people seeing what they expect to see. Children influenced by stories, creating shared delusions. But that doesn't explain the physical evidence, the scratches in concrete, the cut on Yuki's face, the arrested woman in Seoul who knew details she shouldn't know, the security footage that distorts around a specific figure. It doesn't explain how multiple people in different cities who'd never met describe the same impossible movements, the same black eyes, the same smell of metal and blood, the same instant disappearances. And it doesn't explain why, after decades of research, after hundreds of reported encounters, no one has ever captured clear evidence. No clear photograph, no clear video, no physical body when someone claims to have fought her off. She's always just out of frame, always distorted, always gone before proof can be obtained. In Japanese folklore, certain spirits can return. They're not bound by time the way living humans are. A yurei, a vengeful ghost, can manifest across decades, across centuries, especially if the source of their pain, their anger, their resentment hasn't been resolved. Kuchisake-Onna, in the original legend, was a woman disfigured by her jealous husband, or by a botched surgery, or by assault. Different versions tell different origin stories, but the core is the same. A woman whose beauty was destroyed, who became monstrous, who died in pain and rage, and who now makes others suffer the same fate. If that's true, If she's a real spirit rather than a legend, then she doesn't exist continuously. She appears when cultural conditions are right, when anxiety about beauty is high, when children are vulnerable, when society is stressed. She feeds on fear, manifests through it, and when the fear fades, she fades until the conditions are right again. Is that what happened? Did the economic anxiety of 2007, the pressure on students, the obsession with plastic surgery in Korea and Japan, the stress of modern life, did that create the conditions for something to return? Something that had been dormant since 1980? Or was it always just disturbed individuals? Copycats inspired by an old story? Mental illness manifesting in culturally specific ways? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I do know this. The Kuchisake-Onna legend is one of the most persistent in Japanese culture. It's been 50 years since the first modern reports, and it hasn't died. It hasn't faded into obscurity like most urban legends do. It keeps coming back, keeps manifesting, keeps appearing in new forms, and every time it returns, it's a little different, a little more adapted to modern technology, a little harder to explain away. Security cameras that show distorted images, DNA evidence that leads nowhere, witnesses whose testimony is consistent but impossible. Maybe Kuchisake-Onna is evolving, learning, adapting to a world where everyone has cameras, where everything is recorded, where proof should be easy to obtain. Maybe she's learned how to exist in a way that remains just beyond verification, just beyond proof, forever in the realm of maybe. Or maybe, and this is the possibility that keeps me up at night, maybe she was never one spirit. Maybe Kuchisake-Onna is a role, a position, and when someone experiences enough pain, enough rage, enough disfigurement and rejection, they become her. They take on the mask, the scissors, the question. They become the next iteration of a curse that's been running for 50 years and will continue for 50 more. If you're ever in Japan, if you're ever walking home late at night and you see a woman in a surgical mask standing under a streetlight staring at you, don't engage. Don't answer if she asks you a question. Don't look at her face. Just walk away. Quickly. Don't run. Don't show fear. Just leave. Because whether she's real or not, whether she's a ghost or a criminal or a shared delusion, the fear is real. The victims are real. And the legend continues. Thanks for watching. If you're from Japan or Korea, if you remember the 2007-2010 panic, if you've heard stories or experienced something, share it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Hit subscribe for more real stories from across Asia. Stay safe out there. And remember, some legends never die. They just wait.